You're watching Major League Baseball's virtual network. I'm Nicholas Callis. These are your game recaps, standing updates, and league leaders from Sunday, June the 7th, 2020. The Astros and Orioles played each other in a close game, 2-1 the final score. The Astros scored first in the third inning. They got a run in the fifth. The Orioles got a run in the eighth inning, but failed to come back, and they ultimately lost. The Orioles, however, out-hit the Astros 11-7, and each team committed an error. Justin Verlander got the win, Alex Cobb got the loss, and Roberto Osuna earned his 22nd save of the year. The Brewers and Red Sox played each other, 8-1 the final score. This is an interleague game. The Brewers struck first in the second inning, scoring a run. They got 2 in the third, 1 in the fourth, 3 in the fifth, and 1 in the ninth. The Red Sox could muster just 1 run, and that was in the eighth inning, and they lost by 7. Eric Lauer got the win, and Nathan Eovaldi got the loss. AL East baseball between the Rays and Yankees. This was a blowout. The Yankees won 10-0. They scored first in the first inning. They got 2 runs. They got 3 in the fifth, 2 in the sixth, and 3 in the seventh. And they out-hit the Rays 16-6. Garrett Cole got the win, and Charlie Morton got the loss. The Indians and Royals played each other in an AL Central game, 3-2 the final score, and each team scored in the same innings. Each team got a run in the third, and each team got a run in the sixth. At least 1 run, I should say, because the Royals scored 2, and that was the difference maker in this game, even though the Indians out-hit the Royals 10-8. Heath Fillmyer got the win, Shane Bieber got the loss, and Ian Kennedy in double digits now. With his save total, he has 10. Another AL Central game between the Tigers and the White Sox. And the Tigers won by a score of 6-3. This game took 15 innings to complete, one of the longest games we've seen this year, but the Tigers won the battle against one of their divisional rivals. Brian Garcia got the win, Alex Colome got the loss, and Joe Jimenez earned his 15th save of the season in this one. The Rangers and Blue Jays played each other, 1-0 the final score of this game. A very close game. The Rangers got shut out. The Blue Jays got a run in the fifth inning. The Rangers got 4 team hits but committed an error, and the Blue Jays scored 1 run on 3 hits. Hyunjin Ryu earned his 8th win of the year. Corey Kluber earned his 6th loss, and Ken Giles now has 17 saves on the year. The Angels and Twins played each other, 7-2 the final score of this game. The Twins ended up winning. There were a bunch of 1s scattered throughout this game, but the big difference maker was that 4-run 6th inning that the Twins had, thanks to a Jorge Polanco 3-run home run as part of that inning, and they won handily. Jake Odorizzi got the win, and Tyler Glasnow got the loss. The Giants and Athletics played each other. This is a battle of the Bay, and the Athletics won 6-1. Sean Manaea got the win, and Andrew Suarez got the loss. NL East baseball between the Phillies and the Braves, 5-4 the final score of this one. The Braves got 10 hits as compared to the Phillies 5, and the Phillies also committed an error. They scored all 4 of their runs in the final third of this game, but the Braves had scored their first run in the fourth, got 2 in the fifth, and got 2 in the eighth inning to secure themselves a win. Chris Martin got the win, Adam Morgan got the loss, and Will Smith now with 21 saves on the year. The Cubs and Reds played each other, 7-6 the final score of this game. The Cubs 6 runs on 6 hits, but the Reds had more hits and more runs put up on the board. The Cubs scored first with a 3-run first inning. The Reds got 5 in the third. The Cubs had another 3-run inning in the fourth. Then the Reds tacked on a 6th run in the sixth and put up their 7th run in the seventh, and they won. Cody Reed got the win, Jeremy Jeffress got the loss, and Raisel Iglesias now has 13 saves on the year. The Mets and Nationals played each other, 6-0 the final score. Anthony Voth got the win, and Marcus Stroman got the loss. This was an NL East game. Interleague play between the Mariners and the Marlins, 7-6 the final score. This one went into extra innings. The Mariners tied the game in the 7th inning, and it went scoreless till extras, but the Marlins were able to walk it off in the 10th inning. The Mariners got 10 hits as compared to the Marlins 9, but the Marlins still won the game. Ryan Stanek got the win, and Trevor Williams got the loss. The Cardinals and Pirates played each other, 7-1 the final score. This is an NL Central game. The Cardinals won handily. The Pirates were limited to just 2 hits in this game. Jack Flaherty pitched well in it, and the Pirates got 1 run, which was in the 4th inning, but the Cardinals had started scoring in the 3rd. They put up 2 in the 6th, 1 in the 7th, and 3 in the 9th to secure themselves a win. Flaherty now has 6 wins on the year. Chris Stratton 4-3, and John Brebbia earned his 2nd save of the year. NL West baseball between the Padres and Diamondbacks, 3-0, the final score of this game. Merrill Kelly got the win and Garrett Richards got the loss. The Diamondbacks scored 2 in the first inning and they got an extra run in the 6th. Meanwhile, the Padres were shut out and they just got 1 hit in this game. Another NL West game between the Dodgers and the Rockies, 8-2, the final score. Clayton Kershaw got the win, Ben Bowden got the loss, and the Rockies only scored in the 9th inning. They didn't score at any other point in this game. Meanwhile, the Dodgers have runs scattered throughout their scoreline, as you can see at the top of your screen. Looking at standings now, starting in the American League East, the New York Yankees are 39-27. They're still at the top of this division. They beat the Rays today. The Blue Jays still keeping pace. They've won 2 games in a row and 9 of their last 10. They're still in second place with a 36-30 record. The Rays have fallen to 31-36. They're tied for third place with the Red Sox. Same record, same amount of games back. Each team lost most recently. And the Orioles have lost 3 games in a row. They've lost 7 of their last 10. They're 30-35, and they're 8.5 games back. In the American League Central, the Minnesota Twins continue to be the best team in the American League. Their record is 47-20. They've won 3 games in a row and 9 of their last 10. The White Sox are 40-26. They've lost 3 in a row. They're still in second place, but 6.5 games back of the Twins. The Indians are 36-30, but they're 10.5 games back. That's what happens when the top team in your division has 47 wins. The Tigers are 26-39. They're 20 games back, though they've beaten the White Sox in 3 straight games. And the Royals are 21-45. They're 25.5 games back, and they also won today. In the American League West, the Oakland Athletics are 41-25. They're at the top of this division. They're on a 5-game winning streak. And the Astros continue to keep pace. The Astros have also won 5 in a row. The Astros doing a bit better in their last 10 than the Athletics. The A's have won 6 of their last 10 games, but the Astros have won 8 of their last 10. The Angels are 30-35, 10.5 games back. They lost to the Twins today, and as a matter of fact, they lost 3 in a row to the Twins most recently. The Rangers are 27-39, 14 games back. Have lost 2 in a row. And the Mariners are on a 3-game losing streak. They've lost 9 of their last 10 games, and they're 24-43. American League wildcard standings, they look like this. The Chicago White Sox are 40-26. The Astros are 38-27. The Blue Jays 2.5 out with a 36-30 record, as are the Indians. They're the closest to getting a second wildcard spot at this point in the year because every other team has a winning percentage below 500 and is at least 8 games back. In the National League East, the Washington Nationals are 39-26. They're still at the top of this division. The Marlins have gotten hot recently. They've won 5 games in a row. They're 37-29. They're second place in this division, 2.5 games back. The Braves are 34-32. They're 5.5 games back. The Phillies 33-31, 5.5 games back. They were second heading into the end of May and into June, but now they're in 4th place. They've lost 5 games in a row. And the Mets still in last place. They've lost 2 in a row. They're 27-38. They're 12 games back. In the National League Central, the St. Louis Cardinals are 35-31. They're at the top of this division. And there's still no other team in the NL Central with a winning percentage over 500 other than the Cardinals. The Cubs 31-36. They're 4.5 games back. They've lost 2 games in a row. The Brewers are on an upswing. They've won 2 in a row. They're 30-35, 4.5 games back. The Reds are on a 2-game winning streak. They're 29-37, 6 games back. And the Pirates are still in last place. They've lost 2 games in a row. They're 24-41. They're 10.5 games back. In the National League West, the Los Angeles Dodgers are 45-20. They're at the top. The Padres have lost 5 games in a row, and though they're still in second place, they're 9 games back of the division lead. They were the leaders of the National League West heading into May, and now they're 9 games back of the Dodgers in second. And not only that, they've got a chaser. The Diamondbacks are 35-30, 10 games back, but just a game back of the Padres for second place. The Rockies are 27-38. They're 18 games back, and the Giants still in last place. 26-39 is their record. They're 19 games back. The National League wildcard standings look like this. The Miami Marlins are at the top, trailed by a half game to the Padres, who are second best and have the second wildcard spot as of right now. The Diamondbacks, who are also a part of the NL West with the Padres, are 1 game back. The Braves 2.5 back, as are the Phillies. And no other team after that has a winning percentage above 500. And each team is at least 6 games back of the second wildcard spot. Looking at league leaders now, starting with batting average leaders in the American League. Miguel Cabrera is at a 380 average. He's still at the top. Carlos Santana has a 362. That's good for second best. And Miguel Andujar rounds out the top three with a 349. In the National League, David Dahl has a 360 average, trailed by 4 points by Paul Goldschmidt, who has a 356 average. Jonathan Villar's at a 351, as Nicholas Castellanos. As does Nicholas Castellanos. They're 3 and 4 on this list. Hits leaders in the American League. Miguel Andujar has 96, Miguel Cabrera's at 95, and DJ LeMahieu's at 93. In the National League, Jonathan Villar's at 98, close to 100. Paul Goldschmidt second best with 85, and Ronald Acuna Jr. third best with 84. At bat leaders in the American League, Miguel Andujar has 275. In the National League, Jonathan Villar has 279. Doubles leaders in the American League. Anthony Rendon's at 25, Jose Abreu's at 24, and Miguel Andujar's at 22. In the National League, Jonathan Villar's at 32, Christian Yelich is at 24, and Nicholas Castellanos and Javier Baez tied for third best with 20. Triples leaders in the American League. Jose Altuve's at 5, he leads. Adalberto Mondesi, Whit Merrifield, and Stephen Piscotty each have 4 triples. They're tied for second best. In the National League, Jonathan Villar's at 8, Hunter Pence, Chris Bryant, and Victor Robles all tied for second best with 5. Home run leaders in the American League. Justin Upton has 24, Lourdes Gurriel Jr. is at 23, and Josh Donaldson's at 22. In the National League, Ronald Acuna Jr. has 26, Paul Goldschmidt's reached the 20 platoon, Max Muncy third best with 18. RBI leaders in the American League. Lourdes Gurriel Jr. is at 67, Josh Donaldson's at 57, Jorge Soler, Chris Davis, and Nelson Cruz tied for third best with 56. In the National League, Paul Goldschmidt at 55, Christian Yelich trails him by 3 with 52, and Cody Bellinger third best with 50. Runs scored leaders in the American League. J.D. Martinez is at 53 runs scored on the year. In the National League, Ronald Acuna Jr. is at 59 runs scored. Stolen base leaders in the American League. Adalberto Mondesi has 14, D. Gordon's at 13, and Malik Smith has 12. In the National League, Starling Marte still has 24, trailed by Trey Turner, who's 4 behind him with 20, and Jonathan Villar's third best with 19. Walks leaders in the American League. Shin-Soo Choo's at 43. In the National League, Rhys Hoskins has reached 45. On-base percentage leaders in the American League. Miguel Cabrera's at a 448 on-base percentage. Mike Trout second best with a 433. And Carlos Santana's at a 432. In the National League, Paul Goldschmidt has a 455. Ronald Acuna Jr. has a 436. And Dansby Swanson third best with a 433. Slugging percentage leaders in the American League. Josh Donaldson has a 664, Mike Trout's at a 659, and Justin Upton's at a 641. In the National League, Ronald Acuna Jr. has a 767, Christian Yelich with a 693, Paul Goldschmidt with a 686. OPS leaders in the American League. Mike Trout at the top with a 1.092. In the National League, Ronald Acuna Jr. has a 1.202, which leads all of baseball. Pitcher statistics now, starting with wins leaders in the American League, and Kenta Maeda has some company now. Jake Odorizzi earned his 8th win today, as did Hyunjin Ryu, and they are tied with Kenta Maeda for the top spot. In the National League, Walker Buehler's at 10 wins. David Price and Madison Bumgarner tied for second best with 7. Losses leaders in the American League. There are 3 pitchers undefeated: Chris Bassett, Kenta Maeda, and Mike Minor. In the National League, Walker Buehler has just 1 loss, and he tops this list. Saves leaders in the American League. Brad Hand has 24, Liam Hendricks at 23, and Roberto Ozuna rounds out the top 3 with 22. In the National League, Giovanni Gallegos has 25, Sean Doolittle and Kenley Jansen are at 23. They're tied for second best. ERA leaders in the American League. Mike Minor's at a 2.23, Kenta Maeda has a 2.45, and Zach Plezak's at a 2.46. In the National League, Walker Buehler's at a 1.60, Marcus Stroman's at a 2 even, and Mike Soroka third best with a 2.25. Home runs allowed among American League pitchers. Mike Minor and Gio Gonzalez at the top with 4. In the National League, Garrett Richards, Caleb Smith, and Marcus Stroman have all allowed 4 home runs, which is tied for the least amount in the NL. Shutout leaders in the American League. Garrett Cole threw a shutout today against the Rays, so for the first time, he is alone in company. 3 shutouts on the year. His teammate Masahiro Tanaka still at 2, and Jake Odorizzi has 2 complete game shutouts. In the National League, Jacob deGrom has 3. Zach Wheeler has 2. Merrill Kelly has also joined this list. He threw a shutout today, a complete game shutout. And Walker Buehler also has 2. They're all tied for second best. Strikeout leaders in the American League. Garrett Cole at 121. Not surprising, he's at the top of this list. Lucas Giolito second best with 106. And Jake Odorizzi's at 102. In the National League, Clayton Kershaw leads with 114. Steven Strasburg second best with 108. And Yu Darvish third best with 102. Complete games thrown among American League pitchers. Garrett Cole threw a complete game shutout today, as mentioned before, and that puts him at the top spot on the complete games leaderboard because he has 3 now. Masahiro Tanaka and Jake Odorizzi tied for second best with 2. In the National League, Jacob deGrom and Zach Wheeler each have 3 complete games. They're at the top of this list. Aaron Nola, Merrill Kelly, and Walker Buehler are all tied for third best, but Merrill Kelly, the newest addition to this leaderboard, he now has 2 on the year, which puts him in company with Nola and Buehler. Innings pitched among American League pitchers, the leaders, Hyunjin Ryu's at 95. Garrett Cole trails him by 2/3 of an inning. He's at 94 1/3. In the National League, Clayton Kershaw's at 98 1/3 innings pitched. He's close to 100. Walks allowed among American League pitchers. Carlos Carrasco's at the top. He's let up the least amount of walks this year with 11. In the National League, Brett Anderson at the top all alone with 16 walks allowed. Whip leaders in the American League. Jake Odorizzi's at a .98 whip, and that's the only one in the AL under 1. In the National League, Marcus Stroman's right at 1. Clayton Kershaw and Aaron Nola and Mike Soroka all close with 1.01 whips. Pitching war leaders in the American League. Jake Odorizzi's at a 2.4, as is Garrett Cole. Shane Bieber and Corey Kluber each have a 2.2. They make up the top 4 on this list. In the National League, Clayton Kershaw has a 2.4. Yu Darvish has a 2.3. Walker Buehler and Jacob deGrom around a 2.2. They make up the top 4 on the NL list. Batting war leaders in the American League. Marcus Semion's at a 4.4, DJ LeMahieu's at a 4.1, and Matt Chapman's at a 3.8. In the National League, Ronald Acuna Jr. continues to dominate. His wins above replacement is 5.4. Christian Yelich is at 4.6, and Jonathan Villar rounds out the top 3 with a 3.9. These have been your game recaps, standing updates, and league leaders from Sunday, June the 7th, 2020. I'm Nicholas Callis. You've been watching Major League Baseball's Virtual Network.